Welcome back to Larry King Live. A great pleasure to have with us from Beirut, Prime Minister السنيورة, the Prime Minister of Lebanon. Mr. Prime Minister, thank you for being with us. What can you tell us first, the latest on casualties and damage and the like? What's the latest?
Well, the latest, in fact, that the number of dead people is in excess of about 330. That up till noon this time, this day. And the number of injured are in excess of 1,100 people. This is the death toll and the injured. On the other hand, the destruction is still going on. The air raids and everything is still going on in terms of really the aggression that is started by the Israelis. And in fact, the situation is very bad. What the Israelis did the past 9 days is that they cut the country into pieces. In fact, Lari, they destroyed over 55 bridges, and they did not spare any area in the country, and they did not spare civilian institutions, civilian buildings, and they are continuing their aggression with no differentiation between civilian and non-civilian. This attack is no longer against Hezbollah, it's an attack against the Lebanese and Lebanon. And this, in fact, is bringing the country back more than 20 years by the very fact of all the losses inflicted on Lebanon. This is on top of the human losses that really suffered, and the children and the elderly who really died in their homes. You see, the Israelis, they spoke a lot about terror, and they exercised it par excellence.
Do you, Mr. Prime Minister, do you blame Israel solely? Don't you put any blame on Hezbollah at all?
Well, I said several times, and the Council of Ministers said that what happened on the 12th of July across the blue line is something that the Lebanese government didn't know, and that does not take responsibility, and does not, let's say, adopt. In fact, it disavows such an act. And we said at the same time, let's have a ceasefire, and let's get through the United Nations to address the problem by trying to release the soldiers and to release the detained Lebanese who have been in Israeli prisons for the past 28 years. We have been talking about them for so many years, and the Israelis are giving deaf ears and deaf eyes in order not to really listen to the requests of the Lebanese in this respect. It's not only yes, go ahead.
Is Hezbollah representing you? Are they acting on behalf of Lebanon?
No. You see, Hezbollah is a resistance. It is represented in the Lebanese parliament. It is represented in the Lebanese government, but it is the resistance. Actually, one has to really ask, why Hezbollah is there? I don't want to really defend Hezbollah. I'm going to be very objective and look at things. Hezbollah is there because still there is an occupied Lebanese territory. Israel occupied Lebanon in 1982, and it left in the year 2000. But it remained so many things that Israel has been giving a blind eye to Lebanon. Let me tell you, Israel withdrew from Lebanon, and it still refuses to give Lebanon a map of the landmines that it planted in Lebanon. Up till this point in time, there are about three Lebanese who are detained in Israeli prisons, and Israel refuses to give them back. There is still a land which is called Shib'a Farms. It's Lebanese, and Israel occupies it, and it doesn't really want to surrender it back to Lebanon. What we are really after, let me tell you, the Lebanese government has expressed its position very clearly, that it wants to really prevail over all the Lebanese territories, but it wants the area of Shib'a Farms to be returned to it. We do not agree with what happened across the blue line. We do not agree, but we want a real permanent solution. And the permanent solution, yes, the permanent solution is along the lines that the Secretary General today has really addressed the Security Council. He mentioned all the pertinent points, but you see, these points, they have to be developed and to be discussed with all the parties so that we can come with a complete package that can guarantee security in Lebanon, that the Lebanese government can get back to be in charge over all the Lebanese territories and to be the sole power in Lebanon, and the Israelis can get back their soldiers. We actually are looking for peace and stability in the region. Establishing stability in Lebanon is a very good start and step to be done in the process of developing peace and stability. Let me tell you, Larry, you know, the safety and security of Israel cannot be assured by waging wars, by killing more people, by destruction, by crippling the Lebanese economy, crippling the country that can really say it is a very important democracy in the Middle East, that the country that really values a great deal tolerance and moderation and the rule of law. I think Lebanon doesn't deserve at all what Israel is inflicting on it. By really working towards finding solutions to what is happening in Lebanon and think along the lines that can really build peace in the region, that can guarantee safety and security for the Israelis and safety and security and prosperity to the Arab world. This is the...
Let me get a break and...
Yes.
Let me pause for a second. We'll come right back with the Prime Minister Senora of Lebanon, endorsing these thoughts today of Kofi Annan. We'll be back in a moment. Don't go away.
Yeah.
We're coming right back. Okay?
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
We're back with Prime Minister Fouad Senioura. He is in Beirut. We are in Los Angeles. And have you spoken, Mr. Prime Minister, to President Bush?
Yes, I did. Actually, a few days ago, when he was in Europe, I talked to him. And that was following the trip I made to the United States and met with President Bush in May. And I sensed from President Bush real interest in moving towards real solutions. I expressed to him my appreciation for the sympathy that he has expressed for those who really died in Lebanon because of the Israeli aggression. And he expressed to me his desire in pursuing all efforts in order to reach a permanent solution for the problem that is being faced by Lebanon. I believe that President Bush is exerting every effort together with Secretary Rice, and I hope that things will develop along the lines that can really bring back peace to Lebanon and ultimately a just and comprehensive peace in the region. This comprehensive peace in the region is good for all parties concerned. Particularly, it's good for Israel as well. Yes.
Do you expect to meet with Secretary Rice?
Well, as soon, first of all, that the hostilities are stopped, that we'll get a ceasefire, and that the siege is lifted, because Israel is exercising a very strict siege on Lebanon. Actually, they are not only having an air and sea siege, they are having a land siege, and every truck in Lebanon that carries medical supplies or food from one part of the country to the other, it's being targeted, as they did 2 days ago when they targeted a convoy carrying the flags of the International Red Cross that was carrying medicine and medical supplies. And they targeted as well an ambulance. This is the type of let's say, treatment that we are getting from the Israelis.
What demands are you making at all, Mr. Prime Minister, on Hezbollah? Are you asking them to release their hostages?
Well,
what are you asking Hezbollah to do?
Well, what we are asking, you see, first of all, to get a ceasefire, and we are saying that the Lebanese government will step in so that the release of the 2 soldiers can be guaranteed in line with the effort that should be exerted to release the detained Lebanese who are kept in Israeli prisons. We believe that some real effort has to be made, and the Israeli and the Lebanese government is ready to assume this responsibility because it will become its responsibility. I think this is the line of thinking that the Secretary General is presenting at the present time.
Do you fear Hezbollah's? Do you fear a civil war with Hezbollah? Is your army? Can they take control of your southern border?
Well, I think the ultimately with the let's say getting a real package that can provide peace, security, and the return of the occupied territories, I think the Lebanese army is and should be empowered to really assume this responsibility. But this comes as a complete package in finding a full solution to the problem, whereby Lebanon will go back to the armistice of 1949.
It is better to talk than to bomb. What would you say if you could? You may be watching right now. We are seen everywhere in the world. What would you say, Mr. Prime Minister, to Prime Minister Olmert?
Well, I expressed my views several times that making peace requires historic men and courageous men. And I think the Israelis and the Arabs, for the past 58 years, they have been fighting. And tens of thousands, probably hundreds of thousands of people got killed. And a society, the Palestinian by itself, they have been refugees all over the world. It's high time to really think in terms of the interests of the young men and women and children, of Arabs and Israelis. And it is in the interest of all concerned to work really towards peace. Making wars after, let's say, more than 10 wars have been made since 1948. And it could not really solve any problem. The best thing is to really see how you can make peace. Let me tell you, Larry, it is not the quantity of arms and weapons that makes the security of any people or any country. It is in its ability to build good relations with its neighbor. It is not through killing and vengeance and the spreading death here and there and making destruction. It is by creating confidence. And creating confidence can't happen without really working towards a comprehensive and just peace in the Middle East, whereby they can cooperate together. I think this is probably an opportunity. It is very, very important for historic men to see how they can convert a calamity or a problem situation into an opportunity. If the Israelis can seize this opportunity that was availed by the Arabs in their summit in Beirut in the year 2002, where they offered to really build peace on the basis of the international resolutions and what was agreed in Madrid before, so that they can build peace together. And this...
One other thing.
Yes, please.
We're limited on time. Mr. Prime Minister, do you expect a ceasefire?
I believe that we have all to work hard to achieve a ceasefire. The good intentions of all good people around the world, the leaders of the G8, the Secretary General, the leaders in the Arab world and many of the peace-loving nations are expressing real concern of the disastrous situation in Lebanon, and they are offering everything to help in order to reach a ceasefire. I think it is so important to work together as quickly as possible to reduce tension and to reduce additional calamities that are being inflicted on Lebanon. I think it is high time to get to a ceasefire soon so that we can move directly to address all the issues that was before the 12th of July and after the 12th of July. I think this will be in the interest of all concerned.
Thank you for giving us the time, Mr.
Thank
Prime
you, Larry.
Minister. We hope to call on you again. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you, Larry, very much.
Prime Minister Fouad Siniora, the Prime Minister of Lebanon.
Thank
We'll
you.
be right back with more of this edition of Larry King Live right after this.